So to our favourite moment of the day, this was unbelievable. I don't know what you two thought, but I saw this first on the Fox Footy Instagram account, and they've captioned it with Alastair Clarkson arriving at the NBA playoffs. And I was thinking, well, that's Klay Thompson. Where the hell are they?
Yeah.
What are they doing? Has someone stuffed up on our social media
That's how he
accounts?
rolls, Klay. Just
and there is Alastair Clarkson just cruising in after Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson's a sideshow, really, to the Alastair Clarkson show. And I'm not sure if that was really your favourite moment of the day, or you've just rolled that, because I saw you upstairs today. You've been going full 60-minute style, preparing questions, knowing that we had Jason coming in, trying to get a Clarko style headline out of him. So I know you're ready, locked and loaded. What have you got for him?
Well, there's already intense heat on a couple of coaches already. Do you think that Alastair Clarkson wants to coach again?
I think he does.
Straight into it.
I think he does. Let me be blunt. He doesn't ring me anymore, so I can't actually speak from any authority.
Do you ring him?
No. I'm not going to bother him.
So what do you base that on then?
I just think there's a passion still to coach. And unless he gets a higher calling, as in a bigger organisation than an AFL club, I think he'll be back coaching. And he may just get some nice offers at the end of the year. There could be a few clubs available.
If you're trying to lure him as a club CEO, what are you luring him with?
I don't think you're going to buy Clarko or do anything special other than he's going to look at the list and find a group that he wants to work with. And wherever he thinks he can do the best work, I think that's where he'll go. It's not going to be an extra couple of hundred here.
Do you think the best work is a flag pretty soon after he takes the gig, or is it the Gold Coast, the challenge of taking a group and going the full journey?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
You think that would appeal to him?
Well, it might, but sometimes there's a journey too far, isn't there? And Gold Coast in all sports has proven that thus far. So does he go that way? I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Where do you think's the best fit for Alastair Clarkson out of the clubs who are under a bit of pressure at the moment?
Mind you, we're not sacking any coaches.
No.
We don't wish that on anyone.
Well, I mean, I think if the AFL had their way, it would be one of the growth markets. It would be the Giants or the Gold Coast Suns. But we do know that they wield a bit of influence, the AFL.
Yeah, but you know what? If someone has a bad year this year and you are involved at a footy club and he's available, it'd be crazy not to go and talk.
14 clubs. Do your due diligence. And I think 14 clubs would be silly not to ask the question.
Adelaide hosts GWS in a big game for the Giants this one, gents. Crows unchanged. The Giants welcome back Jesse Hogan from Soreness. If GWS lose to Adelaide here, though, should the Giants rip the Band-Aid off and sack Leon Cameron?
No, I don't think a result this week's.
The venom coming out of the host's mouth.
The gun.
Wow.
The gun loaded tonight.
I'm a big fan of Leon Cameron.
Oh, there it is. There's the rider.
He's an absolute gentleman and done so much for this Giants team. So he should be dealt with respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he will be. I don't think a week makes much difference at this stage. If it's a really bad loss, well, then you probably need a few of those on the trot. And then on the flip side, if they get up and win the game, then I think the decision makers are going to want to see sustained change and sustained ability to deliver on game plan and effort and all of those things. So, yeah, a win would be nice. It buys you some time. It probably stops everyone else from talking about it for a week, but that's about it.
Are we not paying enough respect to the Adelaide Crows? They're 3-3, could easily be 5-1. They lost to Freo by a point. Lost to Essendon by 4 points.
Youngest team in the comp, least experienced team in the comp.
You've got to take your hat off and say what Matthew Nicks is doing is absolutely fantastic at the moment. He's got them playing an exciting brand as well. And you get Tex, who comes back in with a new lease of life. I mean, they're a good team to watch at the moment.
If Tex continues this form, are they in the finals conversation?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, you just got to keep stacking up wins and wins and wins. And we know there's always 1 to 2, sometimes 3 teams that come from nowhere and just bob up and secure a finals berth. So the form that they're in, I mean, they've won solid games. Their game performance against Richmond, it wasn't just the fact that they won, it was the way they played. And I think that's what's the most encouraging sign, is the way they're actually getting it done.
The Bulldogs v Essendon. What does it mean for the loser of this game, particularly the 2-4 Bulldogs, a team that played in the grand final only last year?
Well, I think the biggest issue, if Essendon are close to cooked. I think we've over.
More is stake for the Bullies here.
Absolutely. Because if the Bulldogs lose, it's not just the fact that they lose, it's the fact that they haven't found any sort of semblance of the form that took them to a grand final last year. So that almost becomes more concerning as a group than the win-loss. Just the fact that you know you're not playing well. Because you can lose games of footy but still go forward as a group with your game plan and your effort and all of those things, but you just don't execute. At the moment, their game plan is a mess. Their mids aren't playing well, and really, the Bulldogs go as their midfield go. They've just been exposed at both ends of the ground, and the mids are getting smacked.
Just doesn't seem like there's a great feel coming out of the Western Bulldogs at the moment about the way they're going themselves. I think they're looking for answers as well, because the way they used to transition the ball, which was so good once they got up and running, they were almost impossible to stop. They're having all sorts of problems connecting from defence going into attack. Even the midfielders that we've seen knock up getting the ball, really, some of them are still getting good numbers, but they're not having any impact on the game. So they've got a lot of work to do, the Bulldogs.
What have you made of the call to drop Jamara?
I think it's smart.
Yeah.
He's going to go through phases. But, let's not forget, he's not a midfielder. I mean, if you're a first or second year player and you're a midfielder, you can come in and you can play and you can get touches and all that. He's a key position player, so it's going to take years to develop.
Yeah, but
he's going to have some ups and downs. And you're not in a position at the Western Bulldogs now. They're not rebuilding where they just want to play players for experience. So he's got to earn his spot.
Young Adelaide defenders took marks at will, intercept marks at will last week. So the reliance on Norton to crash packs, Josh Bruce is the perfect player for the struggles that they had against Adelaide last week. That big body to be able to put his body on the line, Ugle-Hagen's not suited to that at the moment.
Yeah, well, you do mention they've got problems all over the field, but let's not forget who they're missing. So you mentioned Josh Bruce, Alex Keith, Tim English. Is it panic stations for this club at the moment? They don't have a daunting month or so ahead, so they can turn it around quickly. They play Essendon, Port, Collingwood, Gold Coast and West Coast. 5
very, very winnable games. And one thing we know about Luke Beveridge is he doesn't panic. I mean, internally he might be a little bit anxious about the way they're playing, and I'm sure they'll be working on a few things, but there won't be any panic. And I think they get the chance to get some confidence up. I mean, even if they were to win those games, you're not going to sit there and say they're flying, because none of those are going to be when the whips are cracking in September. So what it does do, though, Rui, is give them a chance to get their confidence back. And that can be everything for the Dogs, because they're the sort of team that can get on a roll.